This video ended up being a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. I like to talk. That happens. Hello there, everyone. My name is... Whoa, that's not how the intro normally goes. Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to Jimothy Listens. My name is Jimothy, and today we are ranking every single Queendom2 performance from worst to best. The finals haven't happened yet. This is from the opening shows to the end of round 3. Now, why me? Who am I to make this list? I mean, really? Yeah, no one. But I am a professional dancer and choreographer, so I have a slight bit of knowledge when it comes to things like this, but really it's just, my biased opinions, which you will see and we'll get into. I'm not going to talk too much about, my criteria, what I'm looking for. That'll become clear as we get through the list. So, that being said, let's get into it, starting with my least favorite performance, and that is all of the opening shows. I mean, okay, it's kind of a cop-out, I know, but they're just little teaser things. None of them really match up to the rest of the performances. However, I do have a ranking for those, though. My least favorite is WJSN's opening. I think it was nice. I do like the song, but it's just kind of it was just kind of alright, and the costume change was fun, but a bit gimmicky, which is a common theme that we'll be coming back to, whether things are gimmicks or not, because a lot of these performances use things that could be considered gimmicky. But yeah, it was nice, but kind of that was about it. Similar with Hyolin's, but with a bit better vocals and slightly a bit more unique, although the kind of basic Western commercial choreography was a bit like, yeah, but that's kind of what Hyolin does. So yeah, didn't mind it. Next favorite, Brave Girls. When this first came out, this was my least favorite one, but watching them all again to make this list, I was like, you know what? They kind of snapped. The Michael Jackson style choreography, kind of cool, kind of into it, unique style, didn't mind it. They looked very cool. Good job, Brave Girls. Next, Luna's opening show. Just really nice. Luna can dance. We all know that Luna can dance. Their choreography is really nice. The costumes with the sort of loose sleeves to flow around made it all really nice. Looked good, sounded good. Like it. Vivi's opening show next. As much as I'm still waiting for a version of voguing in K-pop that doesn't look completely sanitized and soulless, this wasn't bad. It was interesting, unique. The three girls pulled it off pretty well, especially Shinbi. Was into it. Liked it a lot. And then my favorite opening show was Kepler's. I love See the Light. See the Light is my favorite Kepler song, and so obviously this opening show was going to be a good one for me. I think it showed off Kepler's talents really well. They showed off, powerful dancing, big energy, that kind of youthful approach to things. It's just really good. I really like it. I actually have come back to this one quite often because I love See the Light and I think it's a great show. Alright, so those are the opening shows. We now move on to the rest of the performances. My least favorite performance of Queendom2 is Hyolin's performance from round 2 covering Luna's So What, which I think is an unpopular opinion. I mean, it won that round, so probably, but it didn't do anything for me. All of Hyolin's performances have kind of followed a formula of having a cool idea and then not really going anywhere with it, and I think this one is the worst for it. The sort of Catwoman thing could be cool, but didn't actually appear anywhere except for the start. This is where I get into gimmicky versus actual good use of props. I feel like Hyolin's hoop at the beginning was just a little bit gimmicky. It was like, oh, she's in the hoop and she hit a pose and then she came down and it was like, okay, that's done, moving on. Just forget about that. It was really just done more for the, ooh, look at that, than anything else. Similar with the Catwoman thing, she had the mask on at the start and then took it off and just kind of did the song. If you just took the actual performance of the song and took off the intro, there's nothing that sort of says Catwoman. It's just her sort of performing the song. So What is already probably my least favorite Luna title track, and Hyolin's arrangement of it was just bland and empty. The choreography was basically non-existent for Hyolan. If you go and watch, Hyolan basically just walks around the whole time, letting the backup dancers do all the work. There is one point that I like, I think it's in the second verse, when it suddenly just zooms out and it has all of the dancers in unison just kind of like doing a nice sway. That looks nice. The rest of it, forgettable. So yeah, that's my least favorite performance of Queendom2. Like, it's not a bad performance. All of these are good. They're all very talented performers. But yeah, Hyolan's So What is my least favorite. Moving on, my next least is Brave Girl's first round performance. Now this, I kind of tossed up whether to put this or So What at the bottom, and I feel like I ended up giving this the slight edge. As much as it wasn't really a great performance, it felt like it was a bit more daring. It seems like they looked at the competition that they had and went, oh, we need to do something like big and explosive. And so they just kind of threw everything they had into the performance. They were like, oh, let's start it off with this big intro and like drumming, and they're gonna have these cool like glowing sticks, and then blah 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 blah, and like just kind of throwing gimmicks at the wall and seeing what sticks, and none of it really stuck. It kind of was just like, but then when it switches over to Roland for the second half, that's good. That was good. That was fun. Nice little surprise. Crowd loved it. Everyone loved it. It was good. So not my favorite performance, but I appreciate the effort, even if it wasn't executed amazingly. Moving on, next we have Hyolan's round 3 performance, CC Bay, which it's a stupid name to say. Similar to the round 2 one, it kind of had a cool vibe. It's like, oh, the lifeguard beach thing, that's fun. And then it kind of just does that. It's kind of just, I'm a lifeguard and I'm gonna perform my song. And then to top it off, the song itself is kind of meh at best. Wasn't really that into it. I did like the inclusion of, is her name Kerim, at the end coming in. That was a cute moment. I liked that quite a bit, and especially the sort of ending shot with her like right in front of the camera looking out like this and Hyolan in the background behind her. I thought that was super cute. I liked that. But the rest of the performance just kind of, it was the Hyolan performance where she kind of just like sings very nicely, but the performance itself is like, yeah. Up next we have the dance unit crossover of Kepler and Vivi's to do Purr. I actually did quite like this. Like, I had a lot of hype for Kepler and Vivi's teaming up. They're two of my favorite teams, and to see them working together, I was like, yes! But it wasn't even bad. I think this performance was really a good demonstration of how important staging and blocking and formations and stuff are in a performance. Because out of the 3 dance unit performances, this one was executed the best in terms of the actual like technical dancing. The steps were some of the most intricate out of the 3. The performance of the members was amazing, but because they kind of just stayed in that one place the whole time, it just didn't really have as much impact as it should have. Then from there, we go to another dance unit performance. This is WJSN's Unso and Yoram crossing over with Hyolan for Kaboom. I kind of struggled with how to do Purr and Kaboom. Purr, the dancing was better, the choreography I like much better, but it just kind of didn't hit in the same way that Kaboom did. Like, where Purr was an example of how important sort of blocking and staging is, Kaboom is a great example of how important the actual just like performance of the performers are. Because Kaboom honestly just has very little choreography. Like, most of the verses are more kind of just gestural stuff than any actual set choreography. The chorus choreography is very simple. That kind of boom, boom, boom is basically nothing. There's really only that dance break at the end that is like strong choreography. But because they went out there with attitude, they looked cool, they put everything they had into it, really made it into a great performance, combined with things like using different parts of the stage, the different props with like the rope at the start and coming out with the masks at the end. It just elevated it into making it an actual like really good performance instead of just some cool dancing, which is why I ranked it just above Purr. But yeah, moving on, next we have Kepler's first round performance doing Wadada. Now this, I actually quite like this performance, especially given they were kind of given the short end of the stick with the first round theme being signature songs, when they have, you know, one song to pick from is kind of, I think they did quite well with what they had. I really liked the new arrangement of What I Da they used. I think the added dynamics and sharper bits, like that really punchy changing that is really nice. But like, I think a couple of the groups said it kind of was just like a performance of the song. It's a good song and they're good performers and it's good choreography, but it kind of just didn't really have anything to elevate it to that next level. Up next, and I feel like this is going to be a controversial one, Luna's third round performance, Butterfly. I had high hopes for this, and then it kind of just didn't quite get there. I feel like it matched the song very well, and that's kind of not the best thing, because Butterfly is a song that when I think about Butterfly, I go, that's an amazing song. I love the different elements. It has a really unique feel, and sort of the like cool drop and nice falsetto notes make a really great vibe. And then when I actually listen to the song, I go like, yeah, it's just kind of missing something. And I feel like this performance was very much the same. You look at sort of the individual bits, you look at the choreography and how it was executed, you look at the costumes and you go, yeah, it's all really nice, but it just doesn't really come together to make anything that substantial. It's just kind of like nice pieces. There's that bit where they go into the spider web, which was that's a gimmick. For a second, I thought it was going to be interesting because they were stuck in the spiderweb, and then Hassel came in holding like a light or something, and I was like, oh, she's going to free them, and it's going to be a story moment. But no, they just kind of cut away from it and then never went back to the spiderweb, and I was like, oh, okay, that was pointless. And then Cherry doing her little fall back off the stage is gimmick. Kind of was just like, oh, okay, cool. That's a thing that happened. So yeah, not my favorite performance. Bit of a disappointment. Still very good, obviously. Luna are incredible dancers. The choreography for Butterfly and the sort of new choreography they had in there as well is gorgeous. But it just didn't quite reach those peaks like it should have. Up next, we have Hyolin's first round performance of Touch My Body. Out of Hyolin's sort of three big performances is my favorite. I think it's the most effective. Out of her three concepts, where you've got the lifeguard, So What had, I don't know, I guess she was bad, and then this being like the kind of tropical jungle festival party. I feel like this one, the theme was the most fun, and she did a very good job of like making it feel grand and important, even if the performance itself didn't have a lot to it. And by that I just mean more like Touch My Body, the song is kind of whatever, the choreography is not good. I understand it's kind of like iconic, but that like step and hip it just looks so silly. It looks so silly, but it worked in this context. And I think that's what really elevates this one, is that kind of last like minute where Hyolin's just hitting all of those ad-libs and runs and just giving an incredible vocal performance while there's the confetti raining down and the dancers just kind of moving about and like swirling like that, created a really nice kind of atmosphere that sort of felt big and grand. So this, yeah, definitely my favorite Hyolin performance. Up next, we go to WJSN's round 2 performance covering GFriend's Navilera. This is kind of the best example of taking like cool ideas and just jamming them in where they don't really fit. Like, I love the intro to this performance where you have Unso like controlling Solar as she's like making some sort of potion or whatever and using bits of the broken hourglass from the round 1 performance. I was like, oh, this is really cool. And then you had like the members in the blindfolds and they take them off. I was like, oh wow, where is this going? And then suddenly the song starts and it like pans over to Luda, who's there singing and like smiling, and it's like, oh, what? Instead of like incorporating the cool story bits into the song, it was kind of like cool story bit and then, oh, we're gonna do a song and then maybe we might chuck some more story in the end later, and it kind of just didn't really fit as well. Though, you know, plus sides to this performance, the song itself and their arrangement of it and their performance of it was great. Yoram's solo dance break is like, I love Yoram, but that dance break, ooh, the choreography for that is gorgeous. The way it's very like light and floaty and there's like, you know, jumping and stuff. It's sort of not something that you see normally in stuff like that. And so I thought it looked really nice and she did it really well. So on the whole, cool performance, but kind of just like, I wish the bits had have like meshed together a bit better. Next, we go to our first of the vocal unit performances. That's Luna and Kepler teaming up to perform Don't Go. This was just sort of a very pretty song. Like, it kind of gave school choir the way they just like stood there and sang, which is why it's not going any higher on the list, but I really like this. It was gorgeous. Youngin's perfectly timed tear is one of the best moments of the entire show. Yeah, it's just nice. It's good. I like it. That's why it's coming in basically directly in the middle in, 15th place. Moving on, we have WJSN's round 1 performance, As You Wish. During round 1, this was one of my favourite performances. I think I put this sort of in second place, but going back and watching performances again for this is one of the ones that really kind of changed the most, just because it kind of didn't really go as far as I thought it did in my memory. Like, this performance is very much carried by the song, which I'm okay with because it's a great song, but that's kind of about it. A lot of the choreography is just sort of their original choreography, which is nice, but it was just that. Although I love the dance break in this performance. I think it's actually one of the most effective dance breaks out of all of the performances, just in the way that is a tonal shift, but it doesn't feel like it's just sort of like suddenly out of nowhere. It still like worked quite well. And you had that great shot of Yoram sort of doing that big chest roll as the camera like pans around. Really tasty, really nice. I liked it. And then also at the end when they're on the rising platforms just all singing together, that's gorgeous. So yeah, did really like this performance. It was a shame that the hourglass broke, but things like that, like mistakes, not even mistakes, just like, things going wrong. I don't care about that. I think some people would be like, oh, points down for that, but no, who cares? As a performer, you learn these things happen. So moving on to Hyolyn and Brave Girls Minyoung teaming up to sing To My Youth for the vocal unit performance. Gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. Both of them have incredible voices. Emotional performance. The staging of having them do most of it sort of on opposite ends of the stages and then meeting at the end is simple but worked really well, looked really nice. Just, yeah, another very nice little performance. Up next, we have Luna's PTT. This is another one that my opinion kind of drastically changed on watching them back. At first, I had this PTT performance sort of on the level of like Touch My Body, Wada Da kind of levels as like a nice performance. But I don't know, every time I watch this performance, I just like it more and more. All of the like traditional Korean elements tied into it work really well to kind of elevate it to something more. I think all of the choreography is really nice. I mean, a lot of Luna stuff has kind of like big floaty movements and stuff like that, and I think that worked really well here, both in terms of making it kind of like fighting style movement, and then with like the skirts that they had, that kind of movement, worked really well with those. There was a lot going on in this performance as well. There's sort of moments where the camera is like going over here and then over to this stage and then boom, boom, boom to focus on different members, and it feels quite like large and grand. I like how they didn't really touch the song too much because it's a great song. I love PTT. Really just kind of added a bit more on the end to really turn it up. I think that worked really well. That little outro bit is phenomenal. And yeah, it's just a really nice performance. Moving on, we have Vivi's round 2 performance covering WJSN's Unnatural. And this is a really nice performance. Obviously, the original song, phenomenal. There's like not really much you could have done to ruin it. So kind of whatever you did, it was going to be good. But they took that and they ran. Like they kind of came up with this idea of doing the like tango style and just jammed that in everything. Unlike what I was saying about like So What, where Hyolyn was like, oh, I'm doing a Catwoman thing, and that really only showed up at the very beginning. This, they were like, we're doing tango, and every single second of this is going to be damn tango. From the arrangement of the song, to the costumes, to the backup dancers, to the choreography. Like, I love in the chorus choreography using the skirts for that really, 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 And then for the dance break, when you rip off the skirts, and it's just, so good. It's so good. Love getting to see Shinbi rap, and Umji as well. Gorgeous. Great performance. Great performance. Really loved it. Moving on, we are up to the top 10. We have my top 10 performances from Queendom2. Coming in at number 10, Kepler's third round performance of The Boys. This is a damn good performance. They snapped on this one. Like, I understand the sort of criticisms of it not really fulfilling the theme of the round as much, being Fantastic Queendom. Sure. I mean, they once again were kind of backed into a corner by having no songs left to do. So instead, they just kind of came out with a really damn good performance. Out of all of the performances we've seen in Queendom, this is the one where the performers look like the hungriest and they put the most effort into it. Like, look into the eyes of Kepler for this performance. Go back and watch, like, Mashiro. She's terrifying. This performance is intense. They put every last ounce of strength they had into this, and it comes across. It's just, ooh, it's strong, and it just hits you. It's tasty. Things like the choreography is nice. Like, I, still see Hikaru at the beginning doing that little, like, elbow crawl. Tasty. Vocals are serving. Decent use of the stage as well, with like the different sort of heights of things and people popping up at different levels around the place, and then like the wings that get unfolded towards the end, especially that bit where the wings come out and they're just standing there looking all cool for like a few counts before going back into choreography. It's really nice. It's really good. Good job, Kepler. Moving on, we have our final dance unit performance. This is Luna teaming up with Brave Girls Unji for Tell Me Now. Can you believe no one wanted this song? No one wanted this routine. Me being Nostradamus over here, when I saw them, I was like, this is the best one. I don't know why no one wants this. This is the one that is going to be the most interesting. And I was right. Partly also because I'm a contemporary dancer, and so seeing that sort of stuff, I was like, do it. That'd be fun. But yeah, like the styling of it, the look of all of them with the costumes and the black and white just accentuating the red, looked incredible. And then the choreography itself is really nice. And then the sort of, more than that, the like character work of all of the cat stuff and really like getting into that sort of persona, not just through like facial expression or like gesture, but also through, body language. It's obvious that what's her name? Monica? Was it Monica? I think so. It's obvious that she really worked on quality of movement and sort of when things are going to be sharp or slow, or whether things sort of have like force behind them or are quite like soft and light, and really changing between those. It's obvious that that was worked on a lot, as well as the sort of individual characters, because all 5 of them have slightly unique personalities. It's really nice to see. It's just a really interesting performance, a really captivating performance, and it looked damn good. I'm glad the public agreed, because, Okay, moving on. Okay, wait, hold on, not moving on just yet. Editor Jimothy here to say the fact that I didn't talk about this shot, a crime. Okay, anyway, now that we've done that, moving on. Up next is Vivi's round 3 performance of Bop Bop. Now this, I was surprised that I put this so high. It's kind of just like a good performance of Bop Bop. Kepler did a good performance of Wadada, and I put that right at like the bottom. I think I'm Vivi's biased. Like, they were my favorite team going into this. I think that they're very, very good and talented, and so that might be it partly coming through. But also, like, this is just a really good performance. Also, I really like things that are sort of slightly different or unique to what everyone else is doing. And so in round 3, when pretty much everyone was bringing like a hard-hitting or a serious performance, for Vivi's to come in and do something bright and sweet and a little bit cute and sort of joyful, it really kind of just like created that shift and that gap that made it even more sort of interesting than it would have just been on its own. Once again, they threw a lot into this. Like, there's all of the cheerleading stuff, the way they get lifted up at the start and just stand there like, looks gorgeous. All of the things with like the dancers having like drums and going through and doing all of that stuff. Like, there was a lot of stuff in this performance, and also sort of showed a lot of character. Like at the start, Unha taking the crown off of WJSN's locker and putting it on Vivi's, sort of a little bit like sassy moment, and then it cuts straight to Umji, who's like looking in a mirror, putting on lipstick and being like, oh, I'm so pretty. It like showed not only the character of Vivi's as a group, but also like the individual members, and like the change ups of the choreo, making that little like da 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 and the da da ba ba, sort of making it a bit more like cute and bubbly. I really liked that. I really liked them sort of committing to the bit. And then the like dance break in the middle, especially Shimbi with that ponytail, like just because they were doing like bright and fun and happy, it doesn't mean that the performance was easy or simple. There was still a lot going on. They just happened to have fun while they were doing it. And as someone who values, you know, fun and joy in art, I really liked it. So yeah, that's why it's up so high. Moving on to a similar kind of thing here. Kepler's round 2 performance, Pool Party. People did this dirty, and I don't know why. It was just, what was bad about this performance? Nothing. Right from the start, Yeseo with her little acting moment, doing her little Alice in Wonderland that she pulled off amazingly. The super quick little costume change into getting like pushed into the water or whatever, really nice. The start with Yeseo and Mashiro, they absolutely killed it, and then it just goes from there. I love the inclusion of Roland for the chorus. I think that sounded really nice. Tons of little moments like Hikaru being pulled across the little reef or whatever it was, and then meeting up with Youngin and Yeseo and them taking a selfie together, and then Yujin with a little bubble, and even though if it made her shoes slippery, it looked cute, so it was worth it. And then the dance break in this performance, ooh, not a gimmick. The bars with the not a gimmick, worked very well with the story, you know, synchronized swimming. It looked really nice, it was creative. The only thing gimmicky about that dance break was Shouting's little backflip over the bar. Otherwise, just really nice stuff, creative stuff. And anyone who's, okay, I literally saw like one comment that said this, but anyone who's trying to be like, oh, points down because Dion fell off the stage. Bro, you get up there, you go on that little, very, like really quite a narrow stage with 8 other people doing intense choreography and trying to perform. Chances are you're gonna, you know, misjudge by a centimeter and whoop, take a little tumble. It happens. These things happen all the time. If you're marking down this performance because Dion fell off the stage, have a heart. Have some fun. Come on, grow up. But yeah, I really like this performance. So much fun. So much fun. Then we go to Brave Girls round 2 performance. Speaking of doing performances dirty, the fact that this came last, filthy. I am filthy about that. This performance was so good. The concept of the like now you see me magician heist kind of thing, incredible. All of their little like sleight of hand tricks, very nice. Even like the choreography matching where you had, I think in the first chorus it's like Yujong in front and then the backup dancers come in, spread, Yujong's gone to reveal like Yuna at the back, and then they come in and she's back again. It's very nice. Is it, you know, a little bit like cheesy? Yes, but that's kind of the point. Their arrangement of this song, so good. I love the original song. I have been listening to this version. I think, like, honestly, this Brave Girls version of Mask is the Queendom song I've listened to the most. It's so good. They absolutely crushed the arrangement of it. And there's the out of nowhere, like, super electronic industrial dance break, which was unnecessary, but I don't hate it. So, you know, it's fun. I'm here for it. Great concept that was stuck to really well. Great music. Fun little bits of choreography. This was a really good performance. The fact that it came last, the fact that Hyolin's So What performance came first and this came last, I was filthy when the results of round 2 came out. I was watching that episode and I was just there like, that was messed up. Anyway, moving on into our top 5 now. Our top 5 performances from Queendom 2. Number 5 is Vivi's first round performance. The very first performance of the show. Okay, side note, if you can hear running water, no you can't. I definitely don't live in the basement next to pipes and someone's taking a shower at the moment. Don't worry about it. But yeah, the very first performance of the show, and wow, what a way to kick it off. I'm not even a G-Friend stan. In fact, I kind of had no clue who G-Friend was until I got into Vivi's. I got into Vivi's first, and then I was like, oh, they're from this old group called G-Friend. That shows I really don't know anything about K-pop like, last year. Nothing. Even me, as someone who knew no G-Friend songs, this got me emotional. I was watching this like, look at them go. Like, it was done really nicely. Nice little story presented that kind of, you know, definitely felt like it had meaning to it. The actual, like, composition of the performance was really nice too. The sort of staging was done really well. Like, sort of at the start of it when they break off into the 3 and you have Shinbi first with, like, the hands around her that are kind of flapping to make butterflies, and I think goes over to Umji, where you have the dancers in that like nice kind of curve shape. Little things like that are just like really nice touches that really elevate the performance. And then obviously the vocals are great. It's Vivi's, you can expect good vocals. And the choreography is really nice in this. I think because it's not the sort of like standard hard-hitting commercial, people kind of overlook it. But the choreography in this performance was quite sort of detailed and intricate, and by no means easy. Yeah, easily one of the best performances of the show, just because it felt bigger than just kind of, oh, we're doing a little performance in this competition. It sort of had a reason to exist outside of that, which just really bumps it up that extra level, and why I like it so much. Up next, we have our final vocal unit, and that's WJSN's Yeonjung and Subin teaming up with Vivi's Una to perform Hold My Hand. I'm not really like a vocal singing person. I'm a dancer, I stick to that side. But like this just, this is so good. This is such a good performance. Like, not even talking about like the song or the singing for the moment, the staging of it, like the kind of spring cherry blossoms vibe, gorgeous. Their outfits, gorgeous. I love how they kind of started apart with Yeonjung sitting on the swing, Una on the stool, Subin in the audience. That was such a nice little moment when they first pan to it and you see Subin just standing there with the crowd like right there, super cute. And then she walks up and the wind machine goes and she's pushing her skirt out of the way, all rock star style, so it's there. She's like, oh, so good. And then they all come together and the camera's just rotating around the three of them as they're all like belting their hearts out. Wow. And then yeah, the song itself, gorgeous. Their voices are incredible, and especially the sort of contrast between Eunha's really like bright and sweet and cute voice, and then Yeonjung's just super powerful vocals, really like they played off each other super nicely. And then Subin just going ham, the like key change at the end. Oh my god, everything about this performance I just love. I love it so much. And then into our top three. Third place, I have WJSN's Pantomime. Again, kind of unfair. Pantomime is such a good song. Their performance of this literally could have been them in like hoodies and sweatpants, just eating their lunch on the stage with the song playing in the background, and it would have made at least my top 5. That's how much I love this song. But then they took what is an incredible song and they put just a ridiculously good performance with it. Wow. Was the performance gimmicky? Yes, for sure. But when the concept of the performance is this big show, this big kind of grand, performance, like it's a performance about a performance, then having that gimmicky stuff becomes part of the concept. And instead of being a gimmick, it's like, no, that works for the thing, so it stops being a gimmick. So things like that screen with the effects going while they're dancing behind it, having members like appear and disappear, gorgeous, incredible, great work. The moment in the first chorus when that suddenly drops, just revealing the whole set, wow, huge moment. The chairs for the second chorus, just suddenly going into that bit of chair choreography is incredible. And then the last chorus, like this performance, the end of it is overwhelming. There's pyro going off. There's the main group dancing in the center. You've got the background dancers. You've got the aerial artists going, and then you've got the other members going and the aerials spinning around. It's literally just like this the whole time, which is what it should be. It's that kind of like over the top fairground circus kind of feel, instead of being like, oh, great show, of like it just going completely out of control. You're just sitting there like, oh my god, what's happening? Wow. Wow. I love this performance. It's a great performance. It's an incredible performance. It's, top 3. Editing Jimothy back again, just to say that, once again, the fact that I didn't talk about this section with the looking like dolls and the dynamic switch of it suddenly going into the slight airy bit, amazing, crucial part of the performance. Again, the fact that I missed it, crime. Moving on, number 2. Now, number 2 and number 1, very hard to split because they're kind of both up there for different reasons. And I feel like depending on what you like, you're either going to agree with me and you're going to be like, of course, that's the right answer. Or you're going to be like, how could you ever pick that? What is wrong with you? Once again, this is just my opinion coming from my experience, my bias, what I like and don't like in a performance. I think both of these performances are honestly perfect. So it just comes down to what I value more. So in second place, we have Luna's Shake It, which is so good. Like, it's a perfect performance. Everything about it is just absolutely perfect. The concept is incredible and fun. Right from the intro, you have the shots of all the different members in these different outfits, and then you have, you know, the cute guy walking past and going off with Go On, while Eve is just there like, we're in for, you know, a good show. And then it just keeps going from there. There's so many fun moments that I can't point them all out. Like, literally, I think every single member sort of has a moment, which is crazy when there's 12 of them. Oh, okay, maybe not Vivi, but, you know, what's new? But otherwise, they all manage to stand out. It's great. Each of them has their own little individual moment that all just come together to make it feel like there's just all of this stuff going on. The styling is incredible. I love the kind of split between like, ooh, the hot girls in like the suits, and then like all the dorky girls that then, you know, get the tearaway clothes ripped off to reveal like hot little like colourful outfits. Love it. The choreography, like that bit of locking at the start, like no one would have gone, you know what they really needed in this? Locking. But like it worked and they crushed it. Oof. And then all of the rest of the choreography, the boom, 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 done so well. The arrangement of the song is incredible. That's probably my other most listened to. Literally, when this performance happened, I was like, that is the best performance of the show. Nothing will beat it. And I would have been right if it hadn't have been for what we'll get to in a second. But like, yeah, it's a flawless performance. Anyone who has any critiques of this performance, I would love to hear them, because I honestly can't think of any. Oh, didn't Luna say something like there were comments that the outfits were like too different and it made it hard to keep track of what was going on? Have you never stepped outside? Everyone's wearing different clothes. Like, what? Huh? But yeah, no. There's nothing. It's a perfect performance and absolutely incredible and very deserving of the top spot, which, you know, it would have gotten if it hadn't have been for Brave Girls doing what they did last round. Oh. Man. Once again, I'm not a Brave Girls stan. I didn't really know anything about them before this show, but this performance had me crying. I was in tears. It was just really nice, really good, great moment. Like, I can't say enough nice things about it. I kind of very much got on board with their journey from faltering at round one because of them trying to just sort of do something that wasn't them, then coming in round two with something that was really good and just getting completely robbed, and then being like, oh, like, are we just not good enough? I that moment on, I was just rooting for them. I was like, Brave Girls need it. They need everything. I want to give them everything. And so for them to finally come around with this, wow. That video package at the start, powerful, so good. And then the performance itself, really good. It's amazing, like, what they were saying about how well the song matched what they were, you know, going through. Like, every time they did that, look at me now, I was just there sitting there like, yes, look at you now, oh my god, you're so right, look at you. The song sounded so good. I love the sort of like classical or orchestral elements mixed into it, because it makes it feel very dreamy, especially at the start, them going from that just little like suitcase and them sitting there in the dark, and then Yuna bringing the glass shoes into this kind of like dreamscape. It felt like a kind of escape from reality. And then when we get that second video package of them, you know, winning awards and being super successful, and then like putting on the glass slippers, it's like that dreamscape suddenly becoming the reality. And it's just so nice. And similar to what I was saying about Vivi's round one performance, it feels bigger than the show. It feels bigger than the competition. Even though this is K-pop, an industry that's kind of tried to suck as much artistry out of music and dance and performance as possible. At the end of the day, the whole point of having music and performance and art in general is to tell a story, to express emotion, to convey a message, and that's exactly what this performance did. It's just wow. And you can tell that they were really into it as well. Like, go back, watch this performance and watch Yoo-jung. Her face, she is beaming the entire time. And it's not like a stage smile of like, haha. She is just so happy to be on that stage. And it's so good to see. Like, watching it, I'm just there like, it's so good. But yeah, that is, I didn't make like an ending slide. Let me just go back to it. That was me ranking every single Queendom 2 performance from worst to best. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. How excited are we for the final? I know I am incredibly excited. I also just put out a video the other day of my reaction to the final songs. If you want to see that, you can click, up in that top corner there. It'll be there. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, blah, 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 whatever. And I'll see you next time. Catch ya.